21 minutes to 8.
Yes, there have been tears, tantrums, and a series of spiteful headlines, but the McCartney divorce may finally be coming to an end.
Yes, Sir Paul and Heather Mills will meet in the High Court today to put their claims for a settlement in front of a judge. So what can we expect? Well, Kelvin Mackenzie is the former editor of The Sun, and he's now a columnist, probably written about this several dozen times. And Ayesha Vardag is a family law solicitor. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Ayesha, I'll start with you on the technical stuff, if I may. Heather Mills McCartney representing herself. This is rather unusual for somebody.
Yeah, it's interesting and unique, and it doesn't happen in these kind of big money cases. It's the whole case has taken on this very dramatic David and Goliath sort of feel in consequence of that. And it's going to be very difficult for her because while on the one hand she gets to tell her story the way she wants to, which is obviously a big motivating factor, she gets to go to Sir Paul with all her most aggressive questioning, and subject to just the court keeping a bit of a lid on it, she gets to put all the rather dark propositions that have been floating around, she may be airing now. On the other hand, she's going to be taken to pieces by Sir Paul McCartney's barrister, who's really one of the toughest and most ferocious one can fall foul of.
Yes, unfortunately, we're not going to see any of this, are we?
No, unfortunately not. It would be wonderful to conjure it up. And the other thing is, it's not really working towards a settlement. This is the final hearing. This is full-scale American-style courtroom drama, as
Kelvin,
it were.
couldn't they have done a deal before this? Do you think that?
Well, no, she clearly didn't want to do a deal. And actually, McCartney's lawyers are correct. No matter what they'd offered, that would just simply be the basement of whatever the deal was likely to be. I expect this morning, just before the whole thing starts, I expect Mustin, her QC, who I happen to know for rather painful reasons, right, will go to her and say, we'll give you X, Y and Z. This is the problem. She's not a lawyer, and when she looks at it, no matter, she may not even understand it. These are quite complicated areas. She's got herself into a degree of difficulty.
Yeah, you think it's a pretty risky move to be able to try to do this yourself?
I think at the level that they're operating on, I think she's putting herself at a significant disadvantage. I have no idea who will have advised her to have done that.
Yeah.
Aisha, what does the judge actually have to decide? Is it simply a figure or what?
Well, I mean, there are a few different issues, like the extent to which the case should be publicised afterwards. But yes, primarily it's think of a number.
But usually these things aren't publicised at all. They're held entirely in private.
Oh, no. The case will be held entirely in private. But afterwards, when there's a significant case, there's generally a reported judgment, because that's how our law builds up. It's a system of precedence. When there's a child involved, or there is some other good reason for anonymising, you'll often have the case taken down to just initials. So it might be M&M. But then everybody in a case like this, everybody's going to know what it is anyway. But the main thing is the judge will be looking at how much should be awarded to Heather Mills, both reflecting her needs and the needs of her daughter, and any other factors that might be involved.
Kelvin.
Well, she's going to do great no matter what happens. I mean, this is a 4-year marriage. It looks as though she's going to collect 20 or 30 million pounds plus money for life until the child is 18. This has been a great marriage.
That's fair.
Well, when you say it's fair, what has she contributed to the marriage outside the child? Yeah, I agree. He should pay for the child magnificently. This child will have the best pram in history. You know, you don't have to worry about that. But some of the other aspects, he was a fool. He was a fool not to sign a prenup. This will turn out to be the most expensive mistake. And his lawyers will have probably begged him to have signed a prenup. And in not doing so, it'll probably cost him the thick end of 50 million quid overall.
And this case raises the focus on the advantages of having prenups. I think there's a general move towards them being recognised as binding, increasingly in the courts, being sorted out, becoming an inevitable part of a big money marriage.
Kelvin, what is it about her? Because, you know, you're sort of edging on it there.
Yes.
She is vilified in
She
the
is.
press.
It is incredible, isn't she?
It's just because she was married to a Beatle.
No, I think she was disliked beforehand. I mean, now this is a disabled woman. Now, normally your heart goes out to the disabled. It's the reverse in this case. I've never known anybody who is so disliked, despite the fact they've got such a disadvantage. There's something about her personality. There's something about her background, which we won't go into for legal reasons, which make her an unattractive proposition, and people just don't like her. And the other thing is, the real question is there a bit of sexism involved? If she were a feisty...
And Beatlism.
A little bit of Beatlism, but if she were a feisty bloke, would we mind so much? The fact that she's a feisty and with a question mark background, I wonder that's the reason.
Has she been treated very unfairly by the
No,
press, do you think?
no.
I mean, there's a sense of sort of blood with the piranhas, isn't there?
The truth about the matter is both sides, by the way, we'll know a lot about this case tonight. Both sides leaked like hell. Both sides were saying Paul was magnificent in court today. Another one saying Heather destroyed him in court. It doesn't matter. The PRs, it's a great day for the PRs. Okay. If any of them are still being employed, by the way.
Yes, we'll speak to one of the former PRs earlier.
Yes, Phil Hall will be.
Yes, that's right.
Here later.
He'll be PRing away with it. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Very interesting, yes, and I'm sure we will hear more about it, possibly tomorrow morning here on the programme, actually.